Oh, this week's Sedra Tazria. In this week's Torah portion, we study the metaphysical skin affliction of tsaras. The skin affliction comes from sin. We read, when an eruptive affection occurs in a cloth of wool or linen fabric, in the warp or in the woof of the linen, or the wool, or in a skin, or in anything made of skin. In his commentary to this pasuk, the Sforno taught that unlike Jews, our sages received a tradition that the garments of Gentiles do not become tameh through the affliction of tsaras. In his explanation, the Sforno explained why Gentiles aren't afflicted with tsaras and why it no longer shows itself today. The human species represents the ultimate purpose intended by the Creator in all existence, particularly among mortal beings. For people alone among all creatures are predisposed to be like the Creator in intellect, as God testifies, saying, in our image after our likeness. Now this is justly so regarding all humans who possess human reasoning, which is called in the image of God, and who possess the power of free will, which is called in God's likeness. For among all creation, man alone possesses free will. When a man reflects upon the existence of his Creator, his greatness and his goodness, in whom there is abundant kindness and truth, through which he performs righteousness and justice, and after perceiving and recognizing all this, he will walk in God's ways, making God's will as his own will. In this manner, he becomes without a doubt like his Creator, more so than all other creatures. And this is the ultimate purpose intended from the Creator who brought all into existence. But when a deceived heart turns man aside from this path, and he listens instead to the power of physical temptations in all or of some of his actions, causing him to be lax in fulfilling the will of his Maker, or to rebel against him, then his punishment was everlasting or transitory according to divine judgment. Now, when this occurs to man who sins in error or suffer pains or loss in his possessions or physical being, according to divine wisdom, however, those who slumber and are not awakened at all to know any of these things, these being the Gentiles and the majority of the Israelite nation, save an elite few, they without a doubt are under the control of nature and the heavenly forces, which are superior to these human beings, similar to other living creatures who are not subject to God's providence individually, but only in terms of their species. For through them, the intent of the Creator is fulfilled. He chose the Israelite nation. This intent of God was more likely to be realized among the men of this nation than among other men, for the existence of God and his unity was known partially and accepted among all of Israel from their ancestors. God therefore wrote and taught them the Torah, which is the intellectual portion, and the Torah and the commandment in God's compassion for them at such a time when the majority of them will be viewed favorably before him. God resolved to alert a select few among them, first through afflictions of garments, regarding which we have a tradition. The garments of Gentiles do not become determined through these afflictions because they don't need to be alerted. Then God shall visit afflictions upon their houses, and in this case also no affliction of tsaras can come naturally at all. Therefore, it's appropriate that the garments and houses of Gentiles are not defiled by these afflictions, as our sages have received from tradition. But when subsequent generations did not attain the proper level which would make them worthy of this compassion, there's no longer any memory of these early phenomena of the afflictions of houses, bringing some sages to state that they never even happened. But they did, and therefore we have to be at a certain level to be warned by getting tsaras. That's why there's no tsaras today. Shalom.